Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to KRSTV. This is your boy Kenny. Now remember, subscribe to my channel. Click that bell so you can get notifications every time I drop a video. Also, follow all the information I have in the description box. And also, when you click the notifications, make sure you click all. Also, like this video, comment on this video, and share this video. And also follow my YouTube partner, BK World 2, where it's the Black Netflix. You get everything from The Oval, Love and Hip Hop, to RuPaul's Drag Race. So go check out that link in my description box in the comment section, and go check out BK World 2 today. And this is another mukbang, and what I have here is eggplant parmigiana. Definitely one of my favorite delicates. Last time I made this was with my grandmother, and God rest her soul. And I'm the only one in my family that eats this, so I don't make it all the time, but I love it. So yeah, I definitely put this together for you guys, and I really do enjoy this. It's like, yes. I mean, and they even have you can even, do this with pasta. You can do it with a salad. You can even make a sub out of it. Either way is everything. So, one of the things I wanted to talk to you guys today about is Judge Ruth Bader Ginsberg. On Friday, she recently passed away, and we literally have lost a champion for human rights. She not only, fought for voting rights, she also fought for rights for for gay marriage, as well as rights for the trans community. I mean, she was truly a pioneer, for the LGBTQ community, for the black community, and many others. I mean, she truly used her position to create good for the world, and she will be deeply missed. And I, for one, like to give credit where it's due, and Judge Ruth Bader Ginsberg definitely was a true patriot, and her work and her efforts will not be forgotten, and we need to continue the fight, continue to spread, human goodness and human quality. We definitely need to continue the fight that she had led throughout her tenure as being a Supreme Court Justice. And I definitely even remember learning about her in school, and I was always a patron of hers. So rest in peace, Judge Ruth Bader Ginsberg. You will not be forgotten, and I definitely thank you for your contribution and your accomplishments to form a better humanity. Now what I'm going to talk about is the Emmys. And I must say the Emmys were really good this year. Some of the highlights for me was Tyler Perry getting the Governor's Award. He gave this great speech about his grandmother's quilt, even though I think the speech he did at the BET Awards was even more powerful. But it was a great speech in and of the fact that he talked about his grandmother's quilt and how he discarded it, but really it was his history that his grandmother had given him, and he discarded it. And he says it's kind of the same thing that we do in America. We pretty much discard some of the most important aspects of our history. And he said that the quilt that she gave him, he has in turn created a quilt of his own with all of his work. I mean, you guys know how much of a big Tyler Perry fan I am. I review his shows here on KRSTV, like The Haves and the Have-Nots, The Oval, And I've been a huge fan ever since the plays. You know, I'm a true fan of his talent, and I'm definitely a true fan of what he's done for black entertainment. I mean, instead of him trying to get a seat at the Hollywood table, he created his own table, and now Hollywood is coming to him. Now, that's G. And he recently was listed at Forbes as a billionaire. So Tyler is doing big things. From a man who was homeless living out of his car to now being a billionaire, that's a major accomplishment. But it's an accomplishment that he's also creating opportunities for other blacks, you know, within entertainment. But then he's also talking about how, you know, at Tyler Perry Studios, you know, with the patches that he's making as far as his quilt, you know, he's got blacks, whites, gays, straight, trans, you know, all different type of people who he's given opportunities to pursue their dreams and their passions. So I definitely highly recommend that. I mean, it's pretty much in the spirit of Ruth Bader Ginsberg, you know, uniting people and, you know, understanding that there's greatness in everyone. So yeah, that was definitely a good moment. But then one of the highlights of the Emmys was Zendaya winning Best Actress for a Drama Series for Euphoric. She not only is the second African American to win this award, other than Viola Davis for How to Get Away with Murder a few years back, but she is the youngest to ever win this award. I think she's 24. She's the youngest to ever win Best Actress for a Drama Series, and she looked beautiful. She was very gracious. I mean, you know, pretty much, you know, the Emmys was virtual this year, so you saw a lot of, you know, people, pretty much everybody was in their camp with you know, all their friends and family and people in their circle, and her circle was live. They were so happy that she won, and so was I, because she really had a beautiful acceptance speech, and I'm really happy to see that Zendaya has really made a mark, you know, and she's made history at the age of 24. So shout out to Zendaya. And another thing that stuck out to me was that Regina King had won Best Actress for The Watchmen, and Uzo Aduba won Best Supporting Actress for her role in Mrs. America as Shirley Chisholm. Definitely a true pioneer in the world of politics. And both of them were paying tribute to Breonna Taylor, because, you know, they recently had the court ruling where they, you know, are offering $12 million to Breonna Taylor's family. And it's just a shame, because, like, you know, money is not going to bring back an innocent life. I mean, even with the money, I mean, the money can help the family in so many ways, but it's never going to take the pain away that their loved one was killed innocently, and you know, police are not being held accountable for the fact that they killed an innocent person. You know what I'm saying? An innocent black woman who was actually doing great things with her life. So I actually smiled at the fact that Regina King and Uzo are definitely keeping her name out there, and they are celebrating her in the midst of them winning Emmys. So I thought that was really important. See, what other highlights I got from the Emmys? Oh, Tracee Ellis Ross looked good in her dress. I mean, when she came out, she looked great. But then again, y'all know who her mother is, so fashion is a part of her DNA. So every time you see Tracee Ellis Ross on the carpet, she's always slaying it. And I'm even geeked up because right now I'm watching Girlfriends on Netflix as a marathon, and I'm getting my life. But yeah, I really thought the Emmys was really good this year. Let me think of, but definitely if you guys checked out the Emmys, get down in the comments and let me know some of your highlights from the show, because I definitely there's other things I want to discuss, so I don't want to spend the whole time talking about the Emmys, but I have to say I definitely enjoyed it. There were definitely a lot of diverse people who were nominated, and you know, so many have won. You know, as far as things that weren't telecast, I saw that Maya Rudolph, I think, won 2 Emmys, so shout out to her. Eddie Murphy had won one for hosting Saturday Night Live, so shout out to him. And Kerry Washington won as a executive producer for the live All in the Family and Good Times. So shout out to Kerry Washington. She won her first Emmy. And also Ron Safis and his daughter Laura Safis. She won for what's it called, Free Ray Sean, and also Lawrence Fishburne won an Emmy as well. And also Ron Safis won as a guest actor for playing for his role in This Is Us. So there were some really great entertainers and veterans who were honored at the Emmys. And also in the comedy category, Schitt's Creek cleaned up, y'all. And shout out to my family, Andrew and Michelle Webster, because they're the ones who turned me on to Schitt's Creek. Schitt's Creek is a very hilarious show. I live for it. I watch it on Netflix, and I be laughing my ass off because the characters are so hilarious. It's the scripts are they have great scripts, and it's just a great funny show. And shout out to Dan Levy, because Daniel cleaned up himself. He won 4 Emmys. He won for writing, he won for directing, he won for producing, and he won for playing Best Supporting Actor. So, and then also Eugene Levy and Catherine O'Hara won leading role categories, and the girl who plays the sister, she won Best Supporting Actress. So Schitt's Creek cleaned up, the comedy category. So shout out to them, because I'm a huge fan of the show. Next, I'm gonna talk about Cardi B and Offset. Now, y'all heard this story before. And a lot of people probably wonder, are you surprised? Me, for one, I'm not. As many of you out here are not surprised that Cardi B and Offset are divorcing. Because, they've definitely had some rocky issues in the past before they got married. And definitely after they did get married, he still had, issues of being faithful. But for me, I've definitely seen this situation before. I saw the same situation with Halle Berry and Eric Benet. I even saw the same thing with Sandra Bullock and Jesse. It's like when the woman wins the gold, the men kind of have this sexual thing that they just can't control. I mean, and I think it's due to the fact that some of these men are intimidated by their women. Their women wins the gold. Halle won an Oscar, and then Eric Benet went off and started cheating like crazy. Sandra Bullock won an Oscar. Jesse started, running around like crazy, screwing everything. And then now you got Cardi B, who won a Grammy, brought her husband on stage, and yet he's out gallivanting, screwing everything that moves. So this is not something that is uncommon, and especially in the industry, because the industry, there's a lot of temptation. There's a lot of, and if y'all have seen Offset's not a bad looking guy, so I'm pretty sure there's women always throwing themselves at him. And due to the fact he's attached to Cardi B, that temptation is even stronger, And then I think it's also due to the fact that, she's higher in rank than he is, And that can definitely wear on a man's, monstrosity in his self-esteem. So he looks for that dominance elsewhere, because the woman has somewhat surpassed him economically, but also as far as their rank in the entertainment industry, she's definitely there, and he's not where she is. Even though Offset is successful, he's not at the same caliber as she is. So definitely that can open doors for a man to cheat, because he feels intimidated by his wife's success. And that's why I said that we've seen this before with Halle Berry, we've seen this before with Sandra Bullock, and we're kind of seeing it now with Cardi. And I definitely agree with her. She's not using this divorce as clout, for her album. I totally don't think that. Now, do I think that this situation has been in the works? Absolutely. She was even gonna, leave him before, until he came to her show and he proposed to her. So their issues have been on and off, throughout this time. And now that they have a daughter, I definitely respect where she's at, where she's saying that, she wants to create a good co-parenting relationship with him, and that their daughter will have both of her parents, in her life, which I definitely celebrate, because she's not a woman who's trying to keep her baby father away from his daughter. And that's definitely something to be celebrated. So I wish them both the best, but then again, this is a common issue, in the entertainment field. Like, when the woman reaches a certain level, she loses her man. But yeah, y'all get down in those comments and tell me what y'all think about that. Next, I want to talk about Nene Leakes. Now, Nene Leakes, it has been reported that she is no longer going to be with the Real Housewives of Atlanta. She's been on there for, I think, about, since the beginning. And I think their next season, I think, is supposed to be season 13. So, for the years that she's been there, she's had so many catchphrases. So nasty and so rude. Close your legs to married men. I can go on and on. Stop looking at my legs, Apollo. Like, I said what I said. So many catchphrases that Nene's known for. So it's definitely the end of the reign. But I think it's about time for Nene to move on. And definitely I wish her the best in her future. And definitely I think what happened is that, negotiations didn't go as planned. So she decided to leave. But then again, I think it is due to the fact that both sides couldn't agree, and they weren't going to pay her more money. And personally, I think she deserved more money. I mean, she helped build that franchise. I mean, the Real Housewives of Atlanta was the blueprint for all the other housewives. They opened the door for the Housewives of Potomac, for the Housewives of New York, for the Housewives of Beverly Hills. If it wasn't for the Housewives of Atlanta, none of them would exist. So I see why Nene would ask for more money. She was one of the... She pretty much was one of the pioneer personalities that helped build the Real Housewives franchise. It is what it is. But I definitely, wish Nene all the best. I saw her post on IG, and definitely fighting back tears and everything, because, she's been a key component, with the Housewives of Atlanta from the beginning. But I think now is her time, to move on and to, seek better opportunities. So, shout out to Nene Leakes, and thank you for all the greatness that you brought on the Housewives of Atlanta. Nene was definitely one of my go-tos, even though sometimes Nene would do some shit that would really piss me off. But as a personality, you can't deny how big her personality is. So, shout out to her. Next, I'm going to talk about Kanye West. Child, this situation with Kanye West, it has taken the internet by storm, because he's now calling out his label. He literally posted his entire contract on Twitter. And Twitter ended up shutting him down, especially after they showed a picture of him urinating on his Grammy. Really showing how corrupt the industry is. Now, we've heard this story before. I mean, if you really want to know how crooked the industry is, watch TV One's Unsung. Unsung got a slew of stories of artists who got ripped off by the industry, because you wonder, oh, this act was so great, what happened to them? The industry fucked them over. And that's usually... And that's usually the case for a lot of these artists. They're just coming into the door, you get a bad deal. in other words, a slave contract. And a lot of times, the label that you sign to, they don't modify the contract. They just want to keep you making peanuts while they make the big money off of you. And even though Kanye has made millions, because he's definitely got other business ventures outside of music, but as far as music, he pretty much says that they own his masters, so he really doesn't own his own music, meaning they can use his music for commercials, for movies and everything, and he won't see a dime of it. This goes back to what Prince said, that own your masters or the masters will own you. This was his big fight with Warner Brothers. We've seen it many times before, but Kanye is really blowing them out. Pretty much, exposing how these industries corrupt artists, and that he's leading a charge to say, I'm going to get everybody their masters back. Now, why the hell Mace come from under his church bench to be like, well, when I left the industry, Kanye didn't have nothing nice to say about me and blah blah. I'm like, well, boo boo, Mace, y'all fights are pretty much the same. In some ways. You left because you saw how corrupt the industry was, but yet you went into religion, and religion and the music industry, in my opinion, have corrupted people more than anything. But what Kanye's doing is he's trying to liberate people, but mainly artists, that artists start getting what they deserve, and that they're no longer being taken advantage of by these big corporations. And you also have to think about this, Mace. Maybe Kanye was reacting to, the same way we all reacted. Because I was like, what the hell is he doing? Not knowing the full insights as to why he left Bad Boy to go into religion. Let's just say he probably saw some shit that blew his mind, and he decided to go to the church. And Kanye probably just reacted the same way we did. Like, what the hell? You're like on the top of the world. What the hell's going on? Not knowing the fact that, them Bad Boy artists, they really got shitty deals. So when Diddy, made that speech at the Grammys about, the Grammys need to get this right, you need to make it right with all those artists that you ripped off. Just saying. Clean your backyard before you tell the sanitation workers how to do their job. It starts with you. But definitely, I just pray that, for Kanye's safety. And people say that Kanye's crazy. In some aspects he is, but then there's also a part of Kanye that Kanye's not wrong here. And he's not lying. He's literally telling the truth that we've known for quite some time. And the only way in reality that you're going to really see any wealth, as far as financially as an artist, is to go independent, because a lot of these companies put you in these 360 deals where you're locked in for many years and you're given all of this great talent, but you never see the wealth of the greatness that you're creating. So what Kanye is doing is creating a movement in the music industry, but I definitely hope that he, definitely stays on top of his mental health, and that he definitely gets protected, because, the whole saying is that when you out people in the industry, certain things go down. And I don't need to go into it here. But just to let you guys know, I will be working on my Patreon, and certain things I can't say on YouTube, I will be doing over there. So I'll definitely announce it, once I got everything set up. But yeah, I definitely, champion Kanye West for, standing up for the rights of musicians and the right of content creators, that they actually can reap their rewards for what they create and what they produce, and that they're no longer being taken advantage of by, leeches in the industry. Next, I want to talk about Andrew Gillum going on Tamron Hall's show, where he pretty much came out as bisexual. Now, for those who don't know about Andrew Gillum, Andrew Gillum is a politician and a public figure. He was the former mayor of Florida, and he ran, for governor, which he lost. And I think after that loss, he went into a very deep depression. And let's just say that depression and that lack of moral judgment led him in the scandal that he's currently faced with. Whereas he was found in a hotel butt ball naked, literally laying in his own vomit, while there was another person who was rushed to the hospital for a drug overdose. And the person that was taken to the hospital was a gay male escort. And I've seen pictures with him and this gay male escort. They have known each other for quite some time. So this is not their first encounter at the this is not their first rendezvous that they had with each other. And his wife VJ, has spoke with Tamron Hall as well, and they have 3 children, and she pretty much stuck by him, and she pretty much kind of alleged that she knew, and I think she did. There are a lot of women who date bisexual men. I mean, we as the black community, as I said in many videos before, that we need to grow the hell up, and we need to stop bashing people for their sexuality. I mean, all people do it, but the black community, it's very toxic, where we really do not explore sexuality, nor do we embrace everyone for who they are, but yet we judge and ridicule people if they're not heterosexual. And it's insane. And I think this is probably why he never really came out to the public, but I'm pretty sure people in his personal life knew about him. But as a public figure, people didn't know. And definitely when he was talking to Tamron Hall, the thing that got me with him was that he starts kind of playing the victim, like, my private life is my private life, and I don't feel my private life should be shared with the world. But honestly, Andrew, that's the price you pay when you're a public figure. Your good and your bad and your ugly is presented to the world. A lot of people want the glitz and the glam of what comes with being a public figure, but then there's also a dark side of being a public figure. There's also there's a yin and a yang, to being a public figure. And I think the whole thing was, as far as his wife VJ, she knew, but you can definitely tell she's bothered because now it's in the public. Now people know about it. And I do believe that there are people who are bisexual, because in my opinion, most people are fluid. And you have, a small fraction of people who identify as straight, and a small fraction of people who identify as gay. But then most people are fluid. It all depends on their fluidity. It is what it is. But I pretty much say that, yeah, this definitely is something that he can possibly overcome, but it's going to be a while before they're going to want him in that political scene, because that whole political perfect image that you created has now been tarnished due to the fact that you were in this hotel with this gay male escort. And do I think it's possible that he was set up? Absolutely. When you let yourself be vulnerable and you're a public figure, there are people who are out to get you, And who knows that somebody got into the ear of this gay male escort and said, like, let's pull a stunt and pay them money. I mean, hey, hoes ain't loyal. And there is a song called You Can't Trust Thoughts. You can't trust a big butt and a smile. And as far as this male escort, he had both. So, that just goes to show you, you have to, when you're a public figure, you really have to be careful who you associate with, because some people are with you because they rock with you, and then some people rock with you because of what you have. And clearly, the fact that old boy was a gay male escort, he was rocking with Andrew because of the perks that Andrew had. You know, one being the black ding. And next, I'm going to talk about another scandal that just hit the airwaves. Jerry Harris, who is known on the show Cheer, which is on Netflix. It's about a cheerleading team. You know, he has been exposed for child pornography and also engaging in sexual acts with minors. And it's like, man, what the hell is going on here? Because just a few years ago, we had the same situation with John Connor from Bring It, where he was messing with two of his students on his squad and was, you know, exposing them to HIV because he was HIV positive, and he never disclosed it to these young kids that he was screwing around, that he was, you know, sexually involved with. Now, I know that there's this thing out here where they're trying to say that pedophilia is okay. Pedophilia is never okay because it rapes a child's innocence, and it really destroys, you know, a good part of that child's upbringing when they're sexually violated. And I, for one, would never stand behind pedophilia, and gay and pedophilia do not go in the same space. Because I will share this with you guys. My mother's former husband actually sexually violated a young cousin of mine. And I remember when it happened, I was just filled with so much rage and disgust. And it just really baffles me, like going back to the black community, where pedophilia we sweep on the rug, but for gay people we want to hang them as if like they're the devil himself. When yet you have these people, and because last time I checked, pedophilia in most cases has always been a straight person's game. But then again, gay people molest children too. I mean, a child molester is a child molester regardless of their sexual preference. So it just really is insane that here it is, you got these two prominent men who are working with children but are yet also having sex with these kids. It's disgusting. And I think that they both I mean, because definitely John Connor was arrested and was prosecuted, and you know, Jerry Harris right now is being held, you know, and I think the FBI is involved, so I think they got some proof here. So if he's definitely guilty of this, may he, you know, serve for the crime he committed, because we need to protect our children, we need to love our children, and we need to value our children, not tarnish our children. So that's what I have, y'all. Get down in those comments and let me know what you thought about this mukbang and about the topics that we discussed. I definitely want to hear your thoughts on it. So until next time, everybody, take care.